Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start checking out the Resto Shaman. Now, a lot of this, we'll like to call it Pug Life Resto Shaman POV. We're showing a SD10 key, I believe the affix is, oh, it just came up, Tyrannical Sanguine Storming, which is kind of like one of those push weeks. It's not too bad. I think the Resto Shaman at this point, it was not too geared. I think we're around like the 220 mark if I remember right. And I believe I had just got the the Vesper Totem Lego, so as you saw earlier, I dropped the Lego before the countdown, so I wasn't able to get it right in the beginning of the pack in the pull. But the Legendary kind of makes this spec right now really strong, so both on a healing front as well as a damage front, so here we are. It is pugs, so it's kind of how, you know, the nature of it. No one really says much. We kind of just get into it. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes it becomes a little bit of a challenge. In this particular key, as you kind of watch through it, you'll notice that we do have a disconnect as we kind of go on near the end. But we still we're able to time it, and part of it is because of the damage that a Resto Shaman can do. So the first pull, the tank, he kind of does this weird. You know, he pulls it. We kind of get it to the urn, but I don't think we have a vent there. So we kind of just start doing like a chain pull. So we just, you know, pull something, and with Sanguine you kind of have to always just keep moving. So it seemed kind of weird because a lot of times we're not used to that. We kind of just keep it stationary. But then he kind of does start chain pulling, which is fine, you know. If the healer can handle it, and he's a Blood Death Knight, he can keep himself alive. But if the healer can handle it, it's not too bad. Me on the other hand, I'm kind of just trying to figure things out. This is kind of my initial parts of playing this Resto Shaman. So still kind of trying to get used to a lot of the keybinds and a lot of the stuff that I'm doing. So here you see me kind of get hit by some of the stormings, but not too bad. Let's see, stat-wise, I am trying to get as much, you know, like verse as I can get, and for maximum damage, I think like haste verse is the way to go in keys. And I don't have that much haste yet, so I think I go for the haste power. Or I actually, because this was earlier on, I might have actually been taking the Sanguine power, the one that drops that Sanguine thing, you know, the explosion of Sanguine. Pull the mini boss. Great thing about Shamans that other healers don't have, minus the fact that they can pretty much drop every healing cooldown in the book, and they have probably one of the more stronger healing cooldowns to keep the group topped off. They have an interrupt, which is really good. So that interrupt helps out. As you notice, I can kind of get the interrupts going as well. I don't have my interrupt charts up right now. I don't know how he just died. I think I was going for the heal, but I think he might have gotten hit. Normally, as I've gotten better, you want to try to dispel some of the debuffs. It does kind of get a little spicy in the higher keys. So yeah, I chose the bottle of Sanguine Ichor here. I think my reasoning for it was at this moment that, hey, you know what, I don't really have the stats, and I could have gone for the haste, but I don't have the intellect, the eye level to really do as much damage, so I was kind of going for the raw damage output and healing that the bottle would provide. Not a bad choice. I believe at higher intellect levels, higher eye levels, you can go ahead and actually choose haste. And if you have the Vesper Totem Lego, you can kind of start doing some nutty damage yourself. The dots from Flame Shock start ticking a little bit faster. You could get a little more procs of Lava Burst, and you can do that. As a healer nowadays, I mean, we're all trying to do damage, you know, instead of just going and getting food and when nothing's happening, you know, just kind of sitting there AFK. So as a shaman, I feel you have it a little bit. You know, Holy Paladins have it well too, but as a shaman, I think everything is kind of very fluid with it. Just drop some Flame Shocks, get some Lava Burst procs, and keep going. On bigger pulls, you can kind of do some Chain Lightnings, which is great. So yeah, as far as the healing rotation, I feel I've been doing what I like doing. I'm a little bit of a greedy player, so I do kind of let my teammates, you know, when I'm doing it with the guys, I'll kind of let them get a little low before I really start healing. But Shaman has, you know, Healing Surge, Riptides. That's kind of like your bread and butter. I've noticed, even in Pug Keys, where you can kind of keep the group afloat with Riptide and Healing Surges. The interaction that you kind of want to watch out for is, you know, 2 Riptides. You get the what is it, Tidal Wave proc, I believe, if it's called. I might be wrong completely. I'm not looking at it right now, but you'll notice the 2 that I have on my bar, my UI. And right now I have 1 proc, so you kind of want to use those procs. You get your Riptides out, and then you kind of want to use the procs. You can use it on Healing Wave for mana efficiency. You can use it on Healing Surge for, oh my god, hey, things need to be healed really, really quickly, really, really hard. So it works really well. I like Shaman Mastery because people get, you know, your group starts getting lower, you can actually start to heal them a little bit more. So anyway, jumping right back into this video. We kind of see we're kind of phasing through because it's not a fortified week. Things are, you know, they're dying fairly quickly. Not a lot of damage is going out. You notice the Sanguine Ichor is actually healing a little bit more during those moments where I find like, oh, maybe I didn't heal anything, but the Sanguine Ichor does do a little bit of healing for me. So yeah, we go ahead, we get to the boss. Now it is a tyrannical week, so this boss can be a little spicy. You gotta kind of watch your tank when he's doing the headbutt, and very, very important to interrupt that cast. So as a shaman, again, you have the interrupt, so you can interrupt that cast yourself, which is fantastic. So we kind of keep going. Headbutt there, you know, and in between I'm just doing some damage. Not a lot of healing needs to be done right now. I'm just kind of doing as much damage as I can. And Sever Smash, kind of want to be a little bit far back. Fairly standard. Everything, the group is doing okay. We have a little bit low. Everyone kind of popped it. That you'll sometimes get that in a lower Pug Key where everything just pops at the same time. You know, if I was a little better at that moment, I probably could have set up a better Cloud Burst, which is a very, very powerful totem, very, very powerful heal. And I know there's a few weak auras. I personally don't really use weak auras, you know, not because I'm against it, but because I'm a little bit lazy to kind of download it and set it all up, because I like customization and I probably would customize more than I would actually play this game, and I love playing this game. So yeah, let's see. Again, everyone kind of pops everything at once. I would pop the Cloud Burst here if I had set it up a little bit better, but no worries. Shaman healed. The Sanguine Ichor helped out a lot there. Again, another big heal there. So going back, doing some healing waves when, you know, everything's okay, so I kind of want to preserve my mana a little more. That's when I start using the healing waves as opposed to the healing surges. And get right back into it. You get Lava Burst proc, so you want to keep your Flame Shock on the target as often as you can. Sometimes you'll notice it does get a little challenging because people, you know, you'll just start taking a lot of damage, and you won't get that chance. Again, I'm setting it up. I used the Cloud Burst there, or it probably just timed out, and it was a little bit easier if you notice that, you know, not everyone was about to die right away. I'm using healing waves again. I'm at 34% mana, which is fine. I didn't get that interrupt, but they did interrupt it. One tick of that on a higher key does do a lot of damage, so just be wary of that.
Our target lies deep within the prison. Let none stand in your way.
Alright, we're kind of moving through. He does this pull here. I drop the Vesper, and you'll notice the damage. This is where you can do a lot of damage, and you can actually do a lot of healing if you kind of get your group in that Vesper radius. So I'm just doing as much damage as I can. If you notice, as a healer, just sustaining it, you know, the damage that a shaman is doing sustained is quite high. We're no Holy Paladins. Ashen Hollow is still one of the best, you know, cooldowns in the game. It'll provide probably the biggest bang. But Vesper Totem just is very, very consistent. You can have it almost every pull, especially if you're running Mechanicos as your Soulbind. You're gonna get, you know, that ability quite often. So it's a really, really great Covenant ability, and it's tons of fun. So right here we go back, and if you notice, Vesper Totem's almost back off cooldown. We got 5 seconds, 4 seconds, you know, and it's coming right back. So I think I hold it, and this is the thing. Sometimes you can hold it, you can use it. Using it off cooldown is not a bad idea. It's, you know, only on a minute. You know, obviously a little bit shorter than that. So you can use it. You can even use it as a big heal as well. But a lot of us, especially with the Lego, we're using it more damage oriented. So But yeah, always keep the flame shock. If you notice, like not a lot of damage is going out, so my focus is just to help out the team with as much damage as we can, and the shaman does a very good job of that. Also, in my opinion, I think shamans are arguably the coolest looking, aesthetically pleasing class in the entire game. I'm very much into elemental lore. I probably get hit. Yeah, I remember this. I got hit. I wasn't paying attention. That's probably a full-on one-shot. That shouldn't happen, but it happens to the best of us, right? Not that I'm the best, but we're trying to get there, right? Okay. Alright, so we get that eating food faster, because we all love to eat, and we always have to be eating. And we go right back into it. So I should drop the Cloudburst here. I do not. Again, this is, keep in mind, I'm still learning how to play the Shaman. So I had this thing where I was not that good at dropping Cloudburst. I just wasn't used to it. You know, I'm more used to using an actual heal, and I have it set up in the keybind with Healbot over here. So I wasn't used to dropping the Cloudburst, but then you know, as I've been talking to shamans that are better, they, you know, as they watch my gameplay, they were like, okay, hey, make sure you're dropping Cloudburst, and I agree with them. Cloudburst is a very important and probably one of your biggest heals, and as you start learning the dungeons a little bit more, Cloudburst is something that can make or break a lot of pulls, and it's a big chunk of your healing. So pretty standard so far with the Sanguine Depths route, nothing too crazy. Again, it's a lower key, just kind of taking it steady, taking it slow. As long as you keep it clean, a lot of the lower keys are able to be timed, and the Shaman provides just that little bit extra oomph, right? Where you don't, if you're maybe lacking on the DPS department just a little bit, the Shaman can kind of do a little bit of a pick-me-up. I don't know how he died, actually. I'm unsure. I'll probably have to go back and look again myself. Just funny because I'm looking over a recording, right? So, yeah, I just don't feel like going back. So, but yeah, he must have gotten one shot by, he must have been low enough, and that could have been my fault. I probably, you know, if I was a little bit more comfortable at those moments, you could probably drop a Spirit Link and save somebody's life, and that's how powerful Spirit Link is. I was waiting outside. I thought he was going to bring it to the urn. Then I remembered, I guess we don't have a Venthyr in this dungeon, so I won't have that opportunity. We won't have that opportunity to bring it to the urn, so we are inside this room. It's kind of a nice room, huh? It's not too bad. Vesper, as you notice, is back off cooldown, even though we had just used it. So on a full 5 target with Vesper, it is back off very, very quickly. And the tank is doing just fine. A Death Knight tank, I personally really, a good Death Knight tank I really like healing, because you don't even have to heal them. You could just focus on your own DPS and your group. So yeah, over here, the Rack Souls, they do have a Dispel. I am being greedy. I'm looking over. I guess I actually, at this moment, I guess I didn't even know that you could Dispel that. So I wasn't doing the Dispel, but yeah, you want to Dispel that. Or decurse it. I don't know which one it is. It's one of those. You could do it. You could Dispel it. You use your Dispel move. How about that? Alright, so this is the next pull. Alright, he's just doing it single, and he's doing it inside. Sometimes I've seen some tanks bring it outside. I've seen some tanks do it inside. And again, it's tyrannical, so the adds, the mobs are not that bad, so you can kind of get away with, given that it's not super high, like a 20 plus or whatever. Things are, you could get away with quite a few things. So I should have probably dropped the Vesper earlier. Could even drop it now. I didn't. I think I was saving it for the Lieutenant that we have over there, because that Lieutenant with the healing reduction, 50% healing reduction, it's a little bit of a challenge. Or it can be, even at higher keys. I know sometimes you might want to use some cooldowns there. Lower keys, one thing you'll notice is I'm not really, because the tank's not pulling as aggressively, I'm not really having to use as much of my big cooldowns, like Healing Tide, Spirit Link, Ascendance even. Those are some big cooldowns, and you can use them, in those moments. You should be using them liberally. But again, in a lower key, we'll notice that I'm not able to really use them as often. I dropped I didn't move because I had the Tremor Totem, and that's another thing. The utility that the Shaman is capable of providing with the Cap Totems, with the Slow Totems of Earthbind. You know, you could root them with Earth Grab if you talented to that, and then Tremor. So for the fear, I know it's really good on this guy. If you notice somebody's kind of far out, or if you yourself are not with the group, you could drop the Tremor Totem and you won't have to worry about the fear. Tremor Totem is really good on the first boss of Mists. When he does his fear, you can kind of have Tremor Totem ready. But most importantly, I think the biggest utility that the Shaman provides that no other healer does provide is the ability to interrupt. And something that even I work on to this day is trying to be able to interrupt better. I know sometimes in pugs it gets a little tough, and we overlap interrupts, but you want to try to interrupt as much as you can because your interrupt is I think it's the shortest in the game, if not one of the shortest. So you always want to do that. That guy was getting a little low, the paladin, so we went ahead and I don't know what I did actually. I think used the Cloud Burst and then I dropped the Riptide right away. Riptide is instant cast, so when someone's low, again, your mastery kicks in. So you drop a Riptide, it does get them up. I had an interrupt up. I wasn't faced correctly, so I missed the Barb Shackles, and so now I have to actually heal this guy. On a high key, that Barb Shackles should not go off. And me as a Shaman, I should be always ready for that as well. So some pointers even for myself now, and that's why I kind of like going over these older VODs, right? Even of my own gameplay, and we'll kind of just be watching the Shaman for a little while. I have a Mistweaver as well I want to go over, but we'll going over the Shaman and we'll kind of watch the progression and how it happens, where again, I'm not using Cloud Burst, and I should be. It's just free healing, 2 charges. I should never be capped on charges, just keep it going. So yeah, over here again, we're continuing. Things are going fine. Little bit slow maybe, but again, you're a Shaman, and Sanguine has a very lenient timer. So as long as you keep it steady, no real wipes, you will be able to time. Even with a wipe, you should be able to time. But again, we're not trying to wipe anything, right? So yeah, so let's go. I just watch, nothing crazy going on. Oh yeah, so I get hit, right? And that was dumb. The argument could be made. I guess I was trying to move, it was a little too slow. I was in it. Again, even if it's not a fortified week, eye level is around this mark, so you can get one tapped, as you just saw. So it's a 10 key. And I know there are people like around that mark, right? And if 10s are what you're doing right now, and you're just at that gear level doing 10s, you still want to try your best to avoid all the avoidable mechanics. So on that one, as you saw, it still one shot me, even though it is not fortified. It's a tyrannical week. Mobs don't do that much damage, but it's still one shot me. So right here, I should try to position the Vesper a little bit better, but I did the damage, I did the healing, kind of went away, so I probably could have gotten a little bit better value out of that, but you still want to drop it when you can. And yeah, so you see the Riptides going out. Again, keep your Riptides going. It's on a very short cooldown. And I couldn't get him. I should have noticed that the Barb Shackles again was going to go off. I could have interrupted it. I did not, and someone died. I couldn't heal him fast enough, and that feels bad always as a healer. But that's what we're learning, right? So we kind of go through it and we kind of watch that. So as a Shaman, as I've gotten to do more Sanguine Depths keys, Barb Shackles is kind of one of those important interrupts that sometimes we miss it. So there you go. I'm 219 eye level. Oh, I'm looking at it. So yeah, and I guess I didn't have IQD on the bars. So here I go putting it on. All right, we're learning. And yeah, so a little bit of time right here. We are waiting for the guy to run back. Don't release all the time. If I can give some advice, like kind of just wait for your group. Sometimes, especially in Sanguine, that guy was getting a little annoying, so we had to kill him right there on the left side, as we saw. The Death Knight didn't like him. And he's almost here, but there you go. That's about a minute, you know. I would say that's gone. So as opposed to, okay, the pull can end on a non-fortified week and just wait for your healer or someone to res you. Might have been a little bit more efficient. So I dropped that, and this is where I think I'm making a call. I think during this time frame, I'm trying to figure out, am I going to lust on this boss, or am I going to try to heal through this boss and then lust on the next one? Because I personally did not know at this time frame, when at the time of this recording, which was going to hurt more. I now believe that this boss can kind of get a little annoying on tyrannical weeks, so I would lust it here, you know, just to maximize also lust usage, to kind of put lust on cooldown because it's such a big cooldown, and you can just kind of keep moving. So for future note, I would do that. And again, as you notice, I'm trying to help out as much as I can with the damage, but healing is also very, very important on this fight. So I would say, remember, you can't do any damage if you're dead. So keep your group alive, keep yourself alive, focus on that over the damage when you need to, and then when nothing's happening, go ham on that damage. Ham on the dam. Ham on the dam. I think he feigns. No, he does not. So he turtles a little late. He didn't have to turtle there, but it's okay. And yeah, we're just keeping going. I probably should drop the Vesper here just to make life a little bit easier for all of us. I do not. I think at this moment mentally I'm getting a little overwhelmed. That hey, you know what? I don't feel as comfortable on the Shaman yet, but the healing throughput that a Shaman can still provide is very, very high. Another thing to note is I haven't used Spirit Link, I haven't used Healing Tide, and I haven't used Ascendance. So I could very much make my life a little bit easier, maybe assist out with the damage a little bit more if I was a little more liberal with those 3 cooldowns, and I can use it in these moments when the ad pops out. I can just pop one of the cooldowns and kind of just keep everybody topped off and go back into doing damage. So but I didn't do that. I also didn't dispel as much. People were getting hit here and there, so try to help your healer, don't get hit, but in the event that, you know, they get hit, you could try to dispel a little more, and I could be doing that also. But yeah, we downed the boss, 10 Tyrannical. Wasn't terribly difficult. Again, you can see that there are mistakes and there's improvement to be made still here. So we do what we can and we learn from it. So I dropped the Cloudburst. He is pulling all of that into Sagadon. I mean, you know, hey, if your tank is comfortable with it, you know, go ahead. Again, here I have cooldowns, so if I need to use them, I will. But I dropped Vesper, and Vesper does a very good job of healing and doing damage, so Vesper it is. The Silence! So I don't think we have anybody that can remove curses besides me, so if I'm the one who gets cursed and silenced, okay, oopsie, can't do anything about it. But go right back into it, and just continue healing. Sanguine can be a little bit of a problem with that. Lieutenants don't get healed, but if he pulls us in and Sanguine's all over there, that could be a little spicy. Okay, just continuing on. So yeah, we just killed the lieutenant, get his power, and then we got the ads on the other side to do. Again, I'm gonna reiterate this, and I can't stress it enough. I know sometimes, like, you know, we see the top players of the world play, and they're doing some crazy pulls. And yes, at that level, when they're trying to maximize everything, maximize every second, those pulls are needed, and that's not something anyone's gonna argue. But on a lower key, you don't have to do the crazy pulls. You don't have to do all of that. So you can kind of, you know, look at your dungeon and kind of look at the timer and say, okay, you know what, on this particular type of a dungeon, we could take it a little easy. So he did the pull over there, and it's fine. It's a good pull. And then, you know, we're kind of just doing these two by itself. We have lust for this now. Again, I didn't lust the previous boss, so I'm going to lust this boss. And I'm going to, you know, try to go ahead, do damage as I can first. Again, keep my flame shocks on. So as you notice, the lava burst procs just keep coming. And yeah, so I was a little afraid of this boss because I know this boss does do quite a bit of damage on high tyrannical keys. So I'm trying to pay as much attention as I could. I'm trying to maximize my cooldowns here, trying to time the cloudburst. So this is, I think, the first time I've been trying to actually practice timing cloudburst, and just making sure that, hey, I could get it when I absolutely need it. So one thing to note here too is I am overcapping on Riptide, and I should not be doing that. So I have my 2 charges of, I want to say it's Tidal Waves. Tidal Waves? Yeah, probably that. I might be wrong, or it might be Flash Flood. I forget which one's which. I don't know the name, but basically what it'll do is it will either lower the cooldown of Healing Wave or increase the healing version, maybe the crit chance of Healing Surge. So anyway, I'm trying to save that, but over there I dropped the Link, and Link is huge. So I dropped the Healing Tide on the Paladin because he was getting, or I dropped the Riptide on the Paladin because he was getting a little low, and then I go back into the healing. I got Cloudburst back to 2 stacks. Kind of want to drop that, but I, again, just getting a little more comfortable, and those are the little things that we kind of start looking at, the little mistakes that I should be doing. Or if I was looking at somebody's VOD, I would say, okay, you know what, hey, make sure the Cloudburst is on cooldown, make sure, your Riptides are ready. So right here, everyone takes damage. I could, drop the Vesper, kind of. Oh, okay, nope, I don't drop the Vesper. I guess I go into Ascendance, which again, it's a big cooldown, so, and it does a lot of AoE healing. So, better safe than sorry, and that's fine. Go back in damage, no one's really taking any healing. I can start setting up a Cloudburst again due to the timer. Again, we got like about 10 seconds before anything happens. The timer's right in the middle, so I could have dropped the Cloudburst, but I didn't. So you kind of can watch that, that gives me some time to build up some healing. And with the Vesper Totem, because the Vesper Totem healing does add to Cloudburst total, so it's a big chunk of healing. And again, on a lower key, it's not too big of an issue. We'll see it a little later as the series continues. We'll see it when I come back to Sanguine on a higher key level, on a Tyrannical, and it's a little bit smoother. And yes, I have indeed gotten better. I am an Ascended now. So yeah, we go ahead, we do this pull, drop the Vesper, start doing as much damage as I can. This pull's not too bad, just be mindful of the traps. Again, you have interrupts, so please continue interrupting. I'm talking to myself right now, right? So, in third person, I guess. Yeah, make sure you interrupt. X, fuzz, shock. And, alright, so I think we're going to do this skip, or normally you do the skip here. I don't know if he's going to. Okay, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I didn't have a pot. Yes, I didn't have an Invis pot on me. So, and then he does the pull. Okay, so he gets through, and I think I have to do a death run. I don't know fully what's happening. Kind of just all waiting, and that's the nature of pugs, right? We're kind of we're not really doing anything. Okay, so the Death Knight kind of lets us know. Okay, I can res. I don't know why everyone's going way up there. If we're gonna die, we should just die back here. Okay, Death Knight gets in combat. And I think this is where, okay, he gives me the res. I'm not going to take it because, I'll take the res after everything dies, and then I'll go ahead and I'll res everybody else, need be. So I tell everyone to stay dead, don't release, and once it kind of resets, then I'll go ahead and res everyone. However, the Paladin did release, so he's probably going to have to do the death run here. And it looks like, okay, we got some Gargans coming in. He's in combat, I believe. Okay, he's gonna die. So we're just, okay, so he's dead. And I'm gonna res now, and I'm gonna revive, take the res, and I'm in combat. So I freak out. I'm like, oh no. I think this is the part where I was like, okay, yep, I'm in combat. What do we do? We might have to do this pull. So, not what you want. We are quite a bit. Yeah, I think there it is. So the hunter was too far forward, and the gauntlet started. And so when you start the gauntlet, you kind of want to just be behind the bridge here, not start anything. So, and there's an option. So I'm still on the other side. I am in combat, so I'm not gonna get out of combat. So he's gonna have to pull this, and we're just gonna have to kill it all. So. Yeah, so luckily everyone's still here, and we're just going to kind of do this pull. But communication is key, right? And that's the biggest challenge, I think, in pugs is a lot of times we don't have voice, we can't talk and kind of decide, okay, this is how we're going to do this pull, we're going to do that. You could try to do it that I pull. You could try to do it by typing it out, maybe linking a route. You know, sometimes when I do tank, I actually tank as a main more so than I do any other role. Kind of nature of my guild and what was needed. But I try to, if I'm doing a pug key, I try to just link my route on MDT so that everyone kind of knows which way I am going, kind of what's going where. Again, everything is subject to change based on cooldowns, based on how the pulls are going, etc. So, but over here we did pull quite a lot, and we tried to do the skip. Skip didn't work, so we kind of have to improvise. Again, if you notice, there was a lot of time being wasted just off of, you know, fail skips, people dying, having to run back. But we still have 10 minutes left. We haven't started the gauntlet yet. 10 minutes left. We have one boss left in the gauntlet. It's still very much timeable. So we just have to try and keep the rest of the dungeon clean. So over here, I am, you know, the stairs are beating me at the game. The stairs are OP. And so are elevators. They're probably the best bosses in the game. But I digress. Coming back. Paladin dies again. I wasn't able to get to him. I am struggling a little bit on the healing front. I think it's more so at this moment I was getting more confused. Okay, what do I do? What buttons do I press? Again, as a new healer, it's sometimes it could get a little challenging. So just try get as much practice as you can. Again, these are keys, and you're trying your best, and you'll see pretty much everything. I think at this moment, if you look, the Paladin did DC. I don't know if that was just a rage quit or whatever, but he did DC, and we're just going to continue because we're at the end. We're just, I mean, at this moment, everyone's in the mindset, if we don't time, we're just going to complete. So, but it is very much timeable, and we're going to do everything in our power to do that. So, I'm trying to do as much damage as I can. The Death Knight is doing massive amounts of healing. He has a full runic bar, so I know he is totally fine. And that's the best part about Death Knights, is if they have full runic bar and 10% HP, don't worry about it. They will press 1 Death Strike or 2 Death Strikes, and they're back at full health. So I felt very comfortable DPSing, and that's exactly what I was trying to do, helping out the group. And again, it's not fortified, so we're just going to kind of keep going along. And yeah, the rest of the dungeon is pretty much pretty standard. So some takeaways from this key. Probably should put this in the beginning, but as you're watching and at the end when you get to it, the takeaways that you can pick up is, hey, even as a newer healer, or you're playing a healer role, let's say, let's focus on the healer role in a key, let's say that about the 10 mark, which I'll consider like the mid-level, we'll say. Or, you know, this is where you're getting to, and this is a little bit of challenging content. This is kind of the content you're doing. I want to just say, just stay calm. A lot of the stuff that's happening, you just stay calm and just kind of focus on what you do best, which is healing. I know it sounds very cliche, right? Do what you do best, which as a healer you should be healing. But that is the truth. Just focus on the healing. If everybody's at full health, drop a flame shock here. You know, don't worry too much. Drop the Vesper there, and don't worry about greeting like I do. I greed even more now. So I dropped the Spirit Link right there, and it's okay. Be liberal with your cooldowns. Take that away, and try to talk. One thing I will say, I haven't done much of that in this key, but in subsequent keys later, and something I've been trying to do as time is going on in pug keys, is I try to communicate before the key even starts. Like, hey, what are we going to do with the route? How are we going to approach this? You know, where are some of the big pulls going to be, so that I know that, hey, I might have to be ready and save cooldowns, healing cooldowns for particular pulls. On keys like this, where I haven't really been using cooldowns, but I have them, if things are going crazy, I can heal. I can drop a healing cooldown, and I can keep everybody alive. And I think shamans are really good at that, at being, you could be a proactive healer as a shaman. You know, you have the hot with Riptide, with the Cloudburst being ready for stuff. You could be a reactive healer as a shaman with healing surges and Riptides again. So shamans are really good on both fronts with that. And then of course you have probably some of the strongest oh shit moment heals with Spirit Link, Ascendance, Healing Tides, and yeah, just don't be afraid to use them when you need to. don't know why he was attacking me. I think I was closest. Yeah, so I just die. And I probably should have moved there. I probably should have dropped Ellie, Earth Ellie or something. See, over there, I probably shouldn't have released. I probably could have asked the DK for a battle res. But at that moment, I was also thinking, like, okay, maybe he doesn't have one, and I can't really see it. So I decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just release myself. And I'm a shaman. I could go into Ghost Wolf inside the key, which I think is totally broken, and just go, okay, so the Gloom Squall comes right here. And I think we phased him, like, right in time, because I didn't get hit. So that was great. Or maybe it's just too far and I didn't get hit. Regardless, I didn't get hit, and oh yeah, so he's right there. I guess I was just too far, so I did not get hit. See, it's great looking over VODs. I didn't know there was a range or a distance that would be too far on that. Oh yeah, Sanguine in the Gauntlet. We keep healing General Call up really high, so it's kind of unfortunate. But we have 4 minutes left, about 4 minutes left in the key. And it's still very possible to time with 4 people. Again, disclaimer, 4 people, after the 3rd boss. So, again, Tyrannical Week. So, you as a shaman, you want to do, you're missing a DPS and things are going to be slow. You're going to have to focus on the healing. But you do a lot of damage as well. And that's what a shaman can provide very well. There is a lot of damage that a shaman provides. And when you get a good tank like this tank, I have to commend this tank for doing a phenomenal job. I really didn't have to worry about him ever as a Death Knight. And that's kind of how Death Knights are, really good Death Knights. I play with the Death Knight, he's really good. I love healing him because I don't have to heal him, right? And we continue, so I'll just kind of let the video play out. Thank you guys for watching. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, we'll watch some more. I'll kind of start posting a little more. I'm around. The shaman is kind of he's capable of doing 20 keys. I did a few 20 keys last week. So yes, I have gotten a little bit better, but you'll kind of see the progression. And I urge you guys, if you're looking for a healer to pick up, I've been having a ton of fun on the shaman. And I think you guys will too, especially before that next patch drops when we can have double legendary. So give it a shot. Enjoy. Thank you guys again for watching.